Howdy folks, thanks for stopping in at Dad's Toolbox. In today's video we're going to be making mead out of old crystallized honey that most people would probably pitch out. We're going to be making the Joe's Ancient Orange Mead using the recipe from the Got Mead website. And we're going to be doing this minimalist style, meaning that we're not going to use any special equipment or anything that you wouldn't normally have in a kitchen or easily pick up at a Walmart. Okay, so we're going to start off with the honey that we have. And what I have here are some older bottles of honey that have crystallized, and that makes it difficult to use for things like sweetening coffee and whatnot. What I'm doing here is I've got them soaking in some hot water. It's just all it is tap water. Yeah, so you can see I've had this one for a while. Anyway, with that said, that's our honey. It's roughly 3 pounds, 3.5 pounds. This is our water. We're also going to be using this jug. So I've taken all this water and I've poured it into this big pot, and I've heated it up just short of boiling. So that's our water. We want to use this water instead of tap water because tap water has chlorine and fluoride and all that stuff in there. We don't want that in our mead. We've got our cinnamon sticks. We've got our allspice. We've got our whole cloves. We've got our raisins. We've got our oranges. Now yesterday I cut these up into 12ths and I threw them in the freezer. So right now they're fresh out of the freezer. I'm ready to go. And then we've got our yeast as per the Joe's Ancient Orange Mead recipe. Alright, so first thing that we need to do is we need to get our honey into our fermenter. That's going to be our jug here. Our jug is our fermenter. So what I'm going to do, we'll start with a small one. Get our little funnel set up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pour what will go in there. You can see it's coming out in chunks. This is actually working out better than I pictured it with these particular honeys, because they were pretty hardcore crystallized. Okay, slowed down a lot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this ladle and just put some of this hot water in here. Try don't burn yourself. Okay, you can see I've put some water in there. Now what I'm going to do is put the lid on and just shake it up. And you can see already that's cleaned that jug out. That jug is going to, as soon as we pour this in there, all of that honey is accounted for. I'm going to go ahead and set that in the sink. We'll get our next jug. Same process. Pour out all the loose stuff, which there isn't much. Yeah, so now we'll get some hot water in there. This is how I pictured the other one being. Oop, careful. Okay. You want to get as much of that crystallized sugar surrounded by hot water as possible, because that's what's going to help it dissolve. So we're going to set this down for a minute and let that dissolve a little bit. We'll come over to this jug. So we'll go ahead and pour. Really hardcore. Again, with the hot water. The bad thing about the glass jars is you can't squeeze them to break things up. I'm going to leave a little air pocket in there so we're have the ability to agitate it. Boy, that jar got hot fast. I'm seeing a hollow spot. I'm going to keep working that spot because if I can get underneath, there we go. I just broke it loose. Now we're surrounding the honey that's in there. It'll dissolve faster. All right, back to this guy. Let's see what comes out. Now you got to be careful. You've heated this up, so when you open it, some of the air is going to escape. Just don't be pointing it at your face when you do it. You can see what we've got is a bunch of crystallized chunks. Seem like sugar, like rock candy. But that's okay. Oof, it got really hot. Ouch. All right, let's try that again without opening the lid. We'll let that sit and dissolve for a minute. Let's see what we got out of this. I've just got one big globule. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and if we can get this broken into smaller chunks, it'll dissolve faster. Back to this guy. There it is. Clean. Well, there's just a tiny, there we go. That's it for that. All right, now we can focus on filling our jug. Let's get a larger dipper. All right, before we put too much water in there, let's go ahead and put in our adjuncts. Let's Start with the raisins, I reckon. It doesn't matter what order you do this in, so since they were right there, they get to go first. I'm going to put in roughly 25. There's 3, 5, 9, 10, 15, 20, 5-ish. We'll eat the rest. Okay. Whole cloves. Let's go ahead. We'll drop 2 in there. Actually, we'll put 1 because I just recently made one with 2. I'll be able to compare the 2. Now it says a little pinch of allspice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little 1/4 teaspoon and only put roughly 1/4 in there. Drop that in there. Okay, and then we've got our cinnamon sticks. I'm just going to drop 1 in there. Call that good. And our orange. This is 1 whole orange cut into 12ths. Recipe says 1/8. I like 12ths because it gives you more surface area to pull flavors from, and it also makes it easier to drop these suckers into these jugs. Our work area here. I'm going to put this on there for a minute and put our spices away. Remember where these go. Go back here. There we go. And our yeast. We're going to wait on our yeast. First thing we got to do, see that how that's collected on the bottom. What we want to do is shake this to dissolve all of the sugars into the liquids. It's getting really hot, and I need. Let's let some pressure out of here. Okay. We won't have to worry about it exploding on us. Okay, so now that it's completely dissolved, we're going to go ahead and finish putting the water in here. We're going to stop about 2 inches shy of the top. Oop, looks like I went a little much on that. It's alright, it won't be the end of the world. Go ahead and close that up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool down to room temperature before we put our yeast in there. We don't want to cook our yeast before they do their job, so there's that. Alrighty, here she is. This is all our hard work and how it's paid off. You can see she's come back down to room temperature. You can see the color is real dark like our honey was, so that's going to be interesting in the flavor profile. So the next step in this process, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get out a balloon. I know all the proper mead makers all over the internet, their heads are exploding right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and use a balloon for this. You don't really need anything more than that. If you really want to get into mead making and get scientific, there's plenty of equipment out there that you can buy. But for right now, we're just doing a little home brew, and we're gonna use a balloon. Now, what I just did there was I poked a hole in the balloon with a sewing needle. So you're gonna want to use a sewing needle or a safety pin or something like that. The idea is to create a small penetration in the balloon. We'll get back to that in a minute. And now you're going to take your bread yeast, and this is just Fleischmann's yeast that I bought off the Walmart shelf over there in the baking aisle. 97 cents for three little packages. The recipe calls for 1 teaspoon, but inside of each of these packages it's actually 2. That's not going to hurt anything. The only thing I'm really concerned about with this one is I filled it up a little bit higher than I should have, but that's okay. If it causes an issue in my pantry, and then I'll just have to clean it up. Okay, so you're going to take the lid off, and then just pour that yeast right in there. Nothing too complicated about it. Just like that. And again, this is straight up old baking yeast. Okay, then we're going to put the lid on. And right now, that yeast is in a big clump. What we want to do is kind of spread it out a little bit. Get it throughout the solution here. If you remember your chemistry, you know this is a solution we've made. All right, there we go. Now there's going to be some chunks and whatnot, but we don't have to get crazy with it. We just wanted to get it spread out through there. Now we take the lid off. I'm going to save this lid. You might need it down the road. And you get your balloon. And if you can get about 4 fingers in there, you're good. Now you're just going to slip it right over the top of the bottle, like so. Now, as the yeast eats the sugar and expels carbon dioxide, what's going to happen is the pressure inside this bottle is going to grow, and it's going to push carbon dioxide into your balloon. Now, if we didn't poke holes in it, it would swell up, like when you blow up a balloon. And that's all well and good. Chances are pretty good that it would not swell up enough to pop your balloon, but it might. So in order to protect us from that, I poked the hole in the balloon so that it'll swell up to a certain extent, and then the air will start to leak out. And what that does is it creates a situation where you have air escaping through the little hole. Nothing can get in because the air is leaving, right? This is called a positive pressure system. Now, at some point in the fermentation, it's going to slow down, and this might even wither down to this point like it is here. And if you wanted to change the balloon out for one that didn't have a hole in it, I wouldn't fault you for it. But it's really your personal preference. By then, the alcohol content inside this bottle will be enough that anything that gets in there will die. So yeah, that's that. Now comes the hardest part in the whole process. You've got to take this bottle and you've got to put it somewhere cool and dark, and you've got to forget about it for 60 days. For 60 days, you're not going to shake it, you're not going to agitate it, nothing. Just leave it be for 60 days. And at the end of 60 days, you will have a nice, tasty alcoholic beverage. Come back to this channel in 60 days and you will get the opportunity to see how mine turned out, and also how to get your alcoholic beverage out of the container without all this junk in it. And we'll put it into something that you can drink it out of. Yeah, that should be good. If you found this video entertaining or helpful anyway, hit that thumbs up button. Let me know I'm doing it right. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, come back and find out how this worked out, hit that subscribe button so you'll know when things are going on my channel. Thanks again, folks, for stopping in.